So, hell yeah. Generally speaking, everything past 70 or 80 we can ignore.
I
It's like your
do want to
phlegmas.
throw out there, in case you guys aren't aware, that the servers go down in 2 hours.
That's fine.
Oh, that's right. Oh
I'm
well.
gonna play Minecraft, but I just
Which,
wanted to introduce Frog to the stage.
like, I'm honestly just gonna get my next relic tool, and I'm gonna hop, skip, jump to Minecraft myself.
Hell yeah. Alright. So, yeah. So, your first ability diagnosis is just like you. What is it fucking called? Benefic? Benefic 1. So, doses is a hit. And then if you use your Krasia, which is the toggle ability I was talking about, it turns it into your Krasian diagnosis, which is your dot. So you have one damage button. It's doses. Um, but if you use your Krasian doses, it turns into a dot. So your Krasia is like a toggle ability. Yeah, it toggles a bunch of different abilities. So doses is your attack. Yeah, it's just your it's like your basic attack. And then once you use it, it converts doses, diagnosis, and prognosis into your Krasian versions of those. Um, so to equivalent this to like Astro terms, Dosis would be like your Malefic, and then your Krasian doses would be Combust, which is your dot. Basically, every healer has like a basic attack, quote unquote, and then like a dot, and that's all they have. Yeah, yeah. Let's go over your attacks. That seems easy because there's not many of them. So you have your Dosis, your Krasian Dosis. You have your Toxicon. Do you know your Krasia? It should be level 30 under spells. Yeah. 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 I put it as control 1 just because you're gonna hit it a ton. Just put it in a spot where you're gonna be easy to hit. Um, and then we're gonna talk about Toxicon. So Toxicon, yes, but the thing about Toxicon, it's not your AoE button. It is an AoE, but it is not the AoE. We'll say. Um, it depends on adder sting stacks. Adder sting stacks. If you look at my screen, do you see like these 3 triangles under the sage bar thingy? What is this thing called? Yeah, the adder's gall gauge. Yeah. So those 3 triangles will fill up when the shield you put on someone breaks. Is how it works. So you're just gonna put a shield on the main tank, like when he's gonna take a hit or something. I wouldn't just straight cast it for no fucking reason, but if I exactly put a shield on the tank, it'll give you an adder sting stack, and then you can use that for Toxicon. Now, Toxicon is special. There's no cast. It has the same recast as Dosis, and it does the same amount of damage. So what that equates to is this is your movement button. Yeah. Yes. Sage at high levels, once you get very, very used to it, has 100% uptime because you can always be moving and casting. Because I can always put a shield on Scrungle because your Krasia diagnosis puts a shield instead of just healing. Don't know if you knew that. But that is Toxicon. Yep. Is your single target shield. Yeah. Your Krasian diagnosis is your single target shield. Alright. Next attack is Phlegma, and you should have heard about the memes. It is Phlegma Balls. Just use them on cooldown. Yes. Yep. It is a melee range ability, but it's instant cast, so it doesn't have a cast. And you can use it while you're moving. So again, it's just like a movement option for sages. But just use it on cooldown, basically, to get the most DPS out of it. Finally, for DPS, you have Dicrasia, Dyscrasia, whatever the fuck. It's your AoE. It's your fart ability. It's like a gravity, but worse. Yeah. Yeah, it is not ranged like gravity. Yes, it is a circle around you. Yeah, it's pretty gay, but it is what it is. And those are all of the
It
offensive
looks
abilities.
cool.
I have it turned off. It just looks like I'm farting.
Yeah. This, ugh.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. You can also put it on anyone else that you think is going to get hit. Like if the boss is untargetable, you don't have any stacks of Toxicon or your movement, you can just randomly put shields on people.
So,
Yeah, exactly.
sorry, quick question for you regarding Sage, because if it worked like that, then just throwing like shields on the group before a raid wide would give you max Toxicon. Is it only the single target shield breaking
Yes.
that? Okay, I
It is
thought
only
so.
a single target, yeah.
Otherwise, that'd be way too good.
So
So just
I'm
raid wide,
gonna
cool. Max Toxicon stacks,
we'll
sweet.
go over sub level 80 abilities now. Yeah. So if you scroll down just like a little bit on your actions and traits tab, you get to the abilities, and this is where like the meat of Sage is. Do you see like Cardia up at the left under abilities? Oh, you might want to switch the view to at the bottom right. It says switch view, compact view. Yeah, and then scroll down to abilities. Yeah, on the eyes. Yeah. So Cardia is basically put it on your tank, and every time you attack, it'll passively regen them a portion of your attack as HP.
Healer stance.
Yeah, sure. Beacon of Light. That sounds right. Yep. Yep.
When you
All
get
right.
like good, you
So
can spot heal with it too. You know, you can like move it around,
yep.
but at least leave it on the tank.
Next thing we'll talk about is your Adderskull or Adderall. Um, Adderskull is the 3 blue orbs that you see on your Sage gauge. They will passively regenerate over time. It takes 30 seconds or 20 seconds, I think, for one to regen completely. And they are 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, 4 different abilities that you can use your Adderall on. There is Durachol, which is just your basic heal. Imagine like an ED, Essential Dignity, on Astro. Just a, it's like a
It's just a
really
big
quick
spot heal.
heal. It's a really quick heal that you can throw it. Yeah,
No cast, yeah.
exactly. Yeah, you can just throw it on someone, and it's really quick healing. There's Carachol, which is a shield that you slam down on the ground around you.
Super good,
Yes,
yeah.
it is your mitigation bubble. So anytime we have a raid wide, Carachol should be the first thing you're slamming on the ground.
You can use it every 30 seconds, so it should be up for like every raid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You have Ixachol, which is your AoE Durachol. It hits everybody around you with a decent heal, and it's instant cast. That's why we use it. And then you have Tarachol. And just as I said, just ignore the names and try and like memorize what they look like. Tarachol is the square-shaped one, and it's Durachol. It just has like a mitigation on top of it, and it heals more than Durachol. Yeah. Yeah. So I have my Durachol and Tarachol next to each other on my hotbar, just because sometimes you won't want to use a Tarachol, and sometimes you will want to use Tarachol over Durachol. Yeah. Tarachol is like, oh shit, our tank just died and is about to get hit with a tank buster. Put Tarachol on him.
Adderskull and cooldown is good,
Exactly.
good.
Yeah. Tarachol is an amazing ability. In exchange, you have a 45-second recast on it, so you have to be careful with where you use it. Durachol has a 1-second recast, so you can spam the shit out of it. Yes. Another thing to note with your Adderall or Adderskull abilities is they
Oh,
regenerate
yeah,
your
made
mana.
Adderall.
Sage is tricky. So you have to use your Outer's Gall. It regenerates your mana. So each one of those abilities that we just talked about regenerates 7% of your mana. Exactly. The
Oh,
thing is,
anything that
though,
uses an Adder's Gall charge gives you mana back.
yes.
Oh, that's cool. I never made that connection. Sorry, go on. Go on. I just like memorized the abilities that did it, but never realized it was everything that used an Adder's Gall. Cool.
But the tricky part about Sage is there are going to be times in the fight where you're not going to need to heal. There's like after we have Cascade, you've seen it so many times, and I use my star. You're not going to need to heal, but you're going to need to regenerate your mana. What I always tell people is to use Carachol as your cooldown button, unless you know you need it for something in the future. It's your shield.
Bubble.
Your boo boo. Because yeah, you need like a constant rotation of mana, and you also need to be using Lucid Dreaming on cooldown. When we start making you a build to do T, I'm gonna give you a lot of piety so you don't have to worry about it as much. But generally speaking, each person, we're gonna have to watch videos of sages doing T, but it's not a fun fight for healers. And there's been many times where I'm sitting at like 4K H or MP, and I'm like, oh shit, fuck. So we're gonna have to work on it. Just keep in your mind that those 4 abilities also regenerate your MP, which is important.
On that same note, you should never be sitting at like max stacks, like the
Yeah,
top
no.
one, so you
Yeah,
can always
never
have
sit
another one
max.
come. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
keeps your mana
keep the
coming
cooldown
too.
rolling. Yeah,
Like nothing else,
exactly.
but
Yeah, exactly. So next up, we're going to talk about Icarus. Icarus is a fun ability. It's a dash. I don't use Icarus too much because I'm moving, but you can use it for uptime if you want, I guess. You just yeet yourself at somebody.
or an enemy too. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. Just know you have one, I guess, is the fun part. This next ability is Zoe. You have to read it. So Zoe spell. That's the keyword. Spell.
So
Next
nothing instant
healing
cast,
spell.
basically.
So not ability. If you scroll up, you can see what your spells are. You have diagnosis, prognosis, and pneuma. Those are your 3 healing spells. So it augments one of those 3. That's it.
If you have to channel it, basically.
It also does apply to the Eucrasian version of prognosis and diagnosis, but it only applies to those 3, nothing else. And we will not have pneuma at 80, so it's just prognosis and diagnosis. So basically, what I'm saying is Zoe's not going to be very useful for us in T.
Yeah.
It can be like you can put a really I don't want to say really, but a chunky shield on us like prior to a raid wide using Zoe, but just know you have it. It just improves your shield for one. It's one use. It's one time use, and it improves the shield.
Oh, because you
So
don't have pneuma. Right? And T, he doesn't
yep,
have pneuma.
no pneuma.
Awkward. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a weird Zoe. Yeah, I guess just the Eucrasian prognosis, right, would be its best
yeah.
use.
I would generally say use it on Eucrasian prognosis front.
Well, Eucrasian prognosis is because you have to use Eucrasia first, and then prognosis turns into Eucrasian. Oh, got you. Yeah, that'll do it. Especially if you get a crit, like a Zoe Eucrasian prognosis can actually throw some like chunky shields on the whole party. It can be randomly awesome.
Right.
The Numa's just so cool.
How's your hotbar looking, Frog? Let's see. Okay, yeah, you're doing good so far. Cardia, I would say Cardia you don't really need to put on like a main hand spot. Because you're not going to swap it around too much. Unless you're like min-maxing the fight, which God bless you if you are, but I'm not going
Probably
to.
not in T so much. I'm thinking like dungeons, like when I don't want to use anything relevant, I'll pop it around to like spot heal, like some DPS or something.
for sure. All right. Next ability we're going to talk about is Pepsis. Kind of a cool ability. They patched it. It's not as cool as it used to be. Pepsi Cola. The reason we call it Pepsi is when you use it, it looks like you're flexing. Pepsi Cola. Anyway, so the way Pepsis works, if you put a shield on yourself, say put a Eucrasian diagnosis on your body, we'll get you using abilities here. Be interactive. Okay, and then use Pepsis. The shield is gone. You see how it used the shield and then it healed you? You're looking at my screen here. I'll look at my screen here. You're looking. Yeah. You gonna come to the FC house?
You mean where literally everyone else is?
I don't fucking know where he is. Where are you? Oh, he unlocked Sage, right? Yeah, so it also works if you come over here. I'll show you. If there's two of us, and I put Eucrasian Prognosis on both of us, it will use both of them and heal both of us. So think about it this way. So we're gonna... Yep. And then Pepsis. Yeah, but the way to think about this... So if you use Eucrasian Diagnosis, it's 300 potency. Prognosis is 100 potency. Pepsis uses a diagnosis charge and cures for 450. So that's a 750 heal over Duratrol. And a lot of people don't understand this fact. Pepsis is very, very good, and it's a way to save mana if you're running low on mana, basically. Exactly. Yes. Yes. Pepsis is really, really good in an emergency because if you will press Ixachol for me, it looks like a disc. It's this one. It's number 5 on your hotbar. There you go. You'll press it for me. It has a 30-second cooldown. So in terms of AoE healing, what you can do, and I'm pretty sure this is still in the game, we'll give you some Sage tech. I know you like techie tech. You can have shields on everybody, get hit with the raid wide, and use Pepsis at the same time, and the shields will still mitigate the damage, but the heal will still go out. Yes. It'll still take the shield. Exactly, yeah. So it's... So the way Pepsis works is it doesn't calculate the heal of Pepsis based upon how much shield it has, just whether it has a shield or not. So if you can do it at the right time during a raid wide, it'll signify that you have a shield. Now, this is people will be subject to waterfall in that case. But the reason I tell people this is because Ixachol has a 30-second cooldown. So there will be times where we will get hit with a raid wide in those 30 seconds. Exactly. See, that Pepsis was amazing. That was like 17k? It's a lot of healing. But yeah. And of course, if you put like a single shield on someone, say someone's really, really low, and then use Pepsis, it'll also heal them a lot more compared to just them giving them a shield. Yes. So Diagnosis Cure is 450 and Prognosis Cure is 350. So when I say cure, it just means how much it heals for, your cure potency. The Pepsis, it scales with which ability or which shield is on them. If it's a diagnosis, it'll heal more than a prognosis, we'll say. Yeah. All right, on to the next ability. Pepsis is cool. There's a lot of abilities in Sage's kit that you can use it a lot of different ways. And there's some abilities that you just will not prefer to use. I like Pepsis personally, but a lot of people don't use it. So it's just up to your preference at the end of the day, I would say. Next one we're going to talk about is Physis. Now, Physis is special. Yep, right next to Pepsis. 2. Because it will upgrade. So Physis 2. And if you read the ability, doesn't really matter the first part. Cure potency doesn't really matter. We're going to look at the second one. The additional effect is the important one on Physis. Increases HP recovered by healing actions by 10%. And that doesn't say your actions, it's all actions. Yes. Exactly. It increases all actions. So this is really, really good in combination with your other healer. Exactly. Exactly. Yes. It's snapshots. Yeah. No. So the way the regens work is regens and dots in this game snapshot at the time of their application. So yeah, if I put a regen on someone and then you apply Physis, it won't counteractively increase the cure potency of the regen. Yeah. That is actually a really, really good question. That is how you so Physis at its base does not cure a lot. It's 150 cure per tick, which is not good. But the thing is, it's 150 plus a 10% bonus to another person's regen, and that's someone else's regen that does a lot more than yours. So this is how we get 20k regen ticks, is Physis. So it's a very, very, very good ability when it comes to certain raid wides that we're getting nowadays, and splashes. Secret. The reason Sage is so fucking good in T is because of Physis. There's so many situations where we're gonna get hit with multiple raid wides, like one after another, that the fact that you can put out Physis and increase someone else's regen is really, really good. Again, Physis has a minute recast, so be careful with how you use it. But yeah, I will say also Zoe stacks on top of Physis. So, yeah. Number 6. It increases your skill. Or your spell. Whenever you use Physis, try and Zoe shield for T. That's specifically for T though. We'll talk about Numa once we reach 90. No. No, no, no. No, no, no. No. No, 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 no. No. It does not work on Physis. It only works on spells. And if you ever need to like refresh what spells are, you can always just look in your actions and traits, and it's the first section at the top. Spells, yeah. No, you're good. Yeah. All right. Next one we'll talk about is Haima. Haima's a really, really cool ability. You might notice it kind of rhymes with Panhaima. So if we read Haima, we can just extrapolate that Panhaima just means AoE Haima, is what it is. The basic rundown of what Haima is it is a stack of 5 shields on somebody. So if I put Haima on you, you notice the 5 shields and the 1 shield next to your bar? On your buffs, yeah. Yeah, it's gonna wear off here soon. But notice the heal at the end. We'll talk about that. It has such a long cooldown, I don't want to use it again. But just remember, it heals at the end. Ta-da! The way Haima works is it's a stack of 5 shields that is applied to somebody. And it auto-refreshes that shield 5 times for 5 different instances of damage. And that can be any instance of damage. which means dots as well. Exactly, yeah. Specifically dots. When Haima came out, Sage came out, they threw all the dots in the world on tank busters because everyone was using Haima. Exactly. But also something like splashes, where we're getting hit 6 times in a row, which is where Panahaima comes in. So you notice on our party list, everyone, we both have 5 stacks, and then we have that heal next to us. Those 5 stacks are 5 self-refreshing shields that will refresh upon us taking damage. And when it is over, it heals everybody. That's basically what it is. Very, very simple. You're very shrimple. Another way you can use Haima, and you might run into this situation, it does not always need to be used when there is 5 instances of damage. The cure potency at the end of Haima or Panhaima will increase based upon how many stacks are left. So imagine someone's getting hit with a really big ability. You put Haima on them. It's a shield that stacks with prognosis, or sorry, it stacks with diagnosis, and they're only gonna get hit once. So at the end of that attack, they automatically get healed with Haima. It's pretty good. Exactly, yeah. You can't use Zoe on it. No, not many ways to. But that is a really good way to increase automatic healing, is what I like to call it. Like high-tech healing is when you don't have to heal at all. You kind of understand Haima and Panhaima. They're pretty much the same thing, just the AoE version of Haima is Panhaima. I don't think you have it on your outbar yet. Panheim is level 80. It's the last ability we're going to talk about for T. I figured we'd just cover it since it's the same thing. It's just AoE. Exactly, yeah. Yep, exactly. So the next one we'll talk about... Yep, it's just on everybody. So if you use Haima on me, it'll put it on me. But if you use Panhaima, it'll put it on all 8 party members. Yes. Don't underestimate the shield capabilities, though, of Haima and Panhaima. Yeah. The thing that makes Haima and Panhaima so good is that they stack with prognosis. So there's that shield, and then there's this one as well. And they're both simultaneously next to your health bar. That means they're both existing at the same time. Make sure you toggle it. You gotta toggle the... There you go. Yep, there you go. And you see how I have both shields on me? It's kind of small, because I'm level 90, but there's both shields. Yeah, which is how you get one of the meteor shields that you can put out as Sage. Another thing to note is you can Zoe diagnosis, which makes that shield even bigger. But yeah. Next one we'll talk about, which is not... I kind of forget we even have this ability a lot of the time. You have Rizamata. This gives you 1 stack of Outer Skull. This is really useful for when you die. It's under Physis. Yeah. It just gives you a stack of Outer Skull. Yep, gives you Adderall. It's your dealer. So when you die, press Rizamata, and you have another thing. They do not automatically regen when you die. They actually get depleted and start regenning from 0. So Sage is, I think, the worst class it feels like to die on as healer, because you lose almost half your kit, it feels like. But Rizamata helps with that. Holos. Holos is your strongest ability. Besides Panhaima. Panhaima, technically. But Holos, what it does is it restores HP and erects a barrier and gives mitigation. All 3.
Sup, guys?
Sure. Yes. Yes, it is an instant cast. Yep. Now, the thing to keep in mind with Holos, so the 3 abilities I want you to keep track of when we're in T is Panhaima, Physis, and Holos. So those are your 3 important abilities. Physis. Physis. It's at the top in your second spot. Yeah. Panheima, Physis, and Holos. Yes. Those are your really, really important abilities. Holos is a godsend, but it has a 2-minute cooldown. It erects a 10% mitigation barrier, as well as giving a shield that stacks with Prognosis, that also stacks with Panheima. I wouldn't use them all at the same time, but it is an option. Why are you naked?
Huh? Oh,
Why are you naked?
nothing.
Wait, no, go away. But that's pretty much it. You've seen all of them. That was all your abilities. So
Trying to
Sage
take him
can
to tea
be,
today.
huh?
Trying to take him to tea today.
The servers are going down in 2 hours,
Yeah.
but I'm teaching him Sage, and we're gonna start leveling him because I'm sick and tired of getting random healers in tea. So. Exactly. But anyway, those are your basic abilities. When it comes to ultimates, we're gonna have to start off with some easier content, I think, just to get used to the healing class. But for ultimates, what do you mean? How bad is it? I don't think it's bad. I mean, I don't use mouse over macros, so I'm a little biased. What do you mean? Mm, I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think that using a mouse over macro for something like Durachol would matter. So something to note about Sage, that would be true if it was a casting class like Astro. Like if I was trying to use Benefic and use a mouse over, it would be a little jank because it's almost a 3-second cast. But majority of Sage's abilities are instant cast, so you shouldn't have that problem if you decide to do that. Another really good thing about Sage, which you're going to really enjoy, is your bubble Carachol. Do you know what that is? Carachol. It looks like a shield. It looks like an orb. Yeah, exactly. It's centered on you and it doesn't have a ground target, which is not usual for healers. So, yes, exactly. So if we look at Scholar, its equivalent is Sacred Soil, and it has a targeter. So I put it down over there. So one thing you don't have to worry about on Sage is targeted macros. Which I think's nice. I can't put my clothes back on. Jesus. Can you reset aggro on that striking to me? He thinks. But yeah. That's the Sage rundown. If there's anything you're curious about, I can help. One really cool thing I like about Sage is the way the kit works together. So like Physis can increase all of your spells potency. So you can do a lot of fun things with your spells. They make it quite fun. Oh yeah, one we didn't talk about is Soteria. So if I put my Cardia on you, and you should always have your Cardia on, don't be a doob. Soteria increases the potency of your Cardia region by I think 70%. Yes. It should be next to Cardia on your menu. Soteria on in your menu, the actions and traits menu. It increases the potency of the regen from your Cardia by 70%. It's just like a really good regen. It's not terribly necessary, but it stacks with Physis. So the way Cardia works is if you come and you put Cardia on yourself for starters. Do you put it on yourself? So just auto attack this thing with doses, and you should see a Cardia regen ticking down. You see
Lost
the
me some.
Cardia? It's like on your body. Do you not see the text scrolling down on your screen? Yeah, that's the regen from Cardia. Yeah, so it would increase that number by 70% with Soteria. Yeah.
Chips.
Yeah. It's just it's a strong regen, and it also stacks with Physis. But what I would suggest using it for is for tank busters, or for a tank buster that you don't necessarily have Paima for, that you need like a shield and a regen for after. Soteria is really good for that reason. It's a little tricky to time because Cardia ticks with your attacks. Yeah. So it's a little tricky to use, which is why I don't necessarily like Soteria, but it is an option. Once you get to a higher level, you can also use Krasis, which increases the healing again. So now if you look at my body, I'm basically getting a Durachol every time that I heal with doses. Yeah. Okay, so look at my body. Can you see me? Yeah, I'll just put it on you. Okay. I don't have Soteria anymore, or Krasis, but do you see the regen coming down on your body? Yeah. So it's hitting for 3.6. Dosis hits for 12k. So if I put Krasis on you, which is an AoE version of Physis, it increases heal potency by 20%, and then you can also put Soteria on yourself, which increases your cure potency by another 70%. So that basically means that every time I attack, you're getting a Durachol shoved on your face. But it's free! It's a free Durachol! I'm geeking out. I like Sage, okay? Okay. And just know that Sage's abilities typically stack with each other. The only one that doesn't is Zoe. So Zoe's does not. It only applies to your spells, which is Prognosis and Diagnosis for the understanding of T. But almost every other ability does stack with itself. But yeah, we'll figure out healing at a later date. There you go. I'm gonna kidnap you for tea. Beach. Ray, I threw my thingies in the trash can. Help.
You threw your fingers in the trash can.
My sage
Yeah,
weapon.
she threw away her P4S weapons. But,
I'm
and
quirky.
those look nice.
I'm quirky. But anywho's
Word.
I guess do we wanna try running a dungeon? Does anyone want to do a leveling roulette really quick?
I've done leveling, but I'm gonna do a 60 dungeon.
Yeah, sure. He's high enough. Fuck it.
I need one more 60 dungeon for my relic.
Alright. You wanna come, Ray?
Say yes.
What do I need? What am I doing?
Melee or DPS.
Better question. What are
Illegal.
what are we doing?
We're doing a 60 dungeon, evidently.
Unfortunately,
I need a green
I
bitter
can't join.
memory. I need one more.
We will do the anti-tower. I haven't done that one.
Yeah,
in a long
yeah,
time.
anti-tower. That's the best one to run.
I just kicked Ray from the party because I was trying to invite him again. Well, now I don't want to run the anti-tower. Which one shall we do? Balestar's Wall? That's pretty fun.
I hate that one.
Zelfa Toll? I haven't done Zelfa Toll
Floppy.
ever. What about Hullbreaker Isle Hard? Huh?
Oh, you know
Yeah.
what? Let's do Belsar's Wall. That'll help Frog know
Oh,
how to heal
Jesus.
wall to wall.
Jesus.
Trial
Wait,
by
did-
fire. Let's go.
Mm.
Did everyone in Group 2 get a mount?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yay!
And as always, Ray was the last one to get his.
I
Per
know,
usual, per usual.
I even rolled a 12 on the last one. I was giving it purely because
And